I'm Dr. Mike Milligan. We're here at the Excellence in Dentistry meeting in Florida, Woody Oaks' meeting. If you haven't attended one of those, it's a great meeting. You can learn so much and network with so many people. And I've got one of the legends in dentistry with me right now, Dr. John Jameson. John, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you. This is great. Look forward to having a chance to share with this group.
Oh, fantastic. Well, we're looking forward to hearing from you. So, of course, John was a practicing dentist for years, and his wife is Kathy Jameson, and they've got Jameson Management, and been around for a long time and helped so many dentists, who in turn helped so many patients.
That's right.
And you used your, well, just go ahead and tell us a little bit about how it all started.
Well, it all started during everybody talks about the recession. Well, there was a real recession in Oklahoma about 1981 to 82.
Okay.
And it started during that time when Kathy came into my practice and helped me then develop the management systems that we used to run my practice successfully with, and that became the core of Jameson Management. And that's how it all really got started. Okay. And we walked and talked, and everything that we taught in other practices was field tested in my practice, let's say. Right. And so it made it real palatable for dentists to understand that we had walked in their shoes, and it was exactly what we were going to teach them were things that worked in the real world. And
of course, you started dentistry when? Your practice?
1974.
74, and Kathy was her major and her degree?
Right, her bachelor's degree was in psychology. Yeah. And she then had a master's in psychology. Okay. I mean, her bachelor's was in education, master's in psychology. Uh-huh. And her postgraduate work has been in psychology and in management, and completing a second PhD.
Okay, so then in the early to mid 80s, she came into your practice.
That's right.
You started developing systems to grow, which you did.
Right, had a wonderful practice.
And it just grew from there, and then you began to teach others.
That's right.
These systems.
That's right. It all started when companies would call and say, we have a client that's having trouble, would you mind helping them? And that's how we'd work one-on-one with some of the laboratory and supply house clients. And then individuals would hear Kathy speak, and then she would end up on a major state meeting or the Chicago Midwinter, which was really the kickoff for a big career.
Okay. And great meeting.
Then it all kind of came back home, and the hygienic portion of our coaching process was developed in my practice with my senior hygienist. And so all of it was pretty much home developed. A lot of resources from outside gave us a lot of good information. Sure. A lot of it is, if you look at psychology and you look at management, there isn't any real new thought that's going on. So the thing is that you're able to do some really good research. You can find a lot of information to develop and put dental ease to it, we call it. Be able to make it applicable for the dentist.
You bet. So long story short, then you had an accident. You stopped practicing in 2002.
Right. Yeah, 2002. It was an automobile accident in 1995.
You were here in a $1 million practice.
Yeah, at the time.
5 years ago.
And then was in a head-on auto crash heading home from work one day. So always keep your disability insurance in force. You never know when this is going to happen to you too. Okay. And so I was crippled up pretty badly, and ended up in 2002 with a diagnosis of cervical spine degeneration, in other words, an arthritic problem, and had lost C3, 4, 5, 6, and 6, 7. And anyway, that was the reason that they told me that I'd lost some function in my hands, and that I had to then probably do dentistry another way. So I had about 30 minutes off when I transitioned from my practice to Jameson Management, and that's where I am now.
Right, okay. And it's, I mean, I've been to meetings that were just dead, even statewide meetings and things like that. But if Kathy and John were speaking at that meeting, their room was packed, and that's just the way it's been.
That's the way it is. That's just kind of how it is, and we have been very, very blessed and have a great following, and I guess if you look at the big picture of our career in dentistry, which spans the biggest part of 30 years.
You bet.
That we probably have a pretty good track record that people can follow, and you're not going to be perfect for everyone, and just as many of the people have said at this meeting, you're not always the perfect fit for everyone. Right. But the biggest portion of the people that we've had clients now that have been with us upwards of 19 years.
Sure. And you've been in about 2,500
About
practices.
2,500 practices, right.
You've got a number of coaching clients right now.
Right. We're working with a good number right now.
100 right now.
Yep. And Kathy, as of this summer, will now lecture in her 27th country.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and we have a great division in the UK. They really do a great job with their practices over there. Those that become what we call private and follow some basic management systems.
Sure. Okay. Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, and so now I understand that even though at this time dentistry has been down over the last couple of years, about 20 to 25%, your average practice is up in the 33% range.
They are. They've done very, very well. 32% increase in production and collection. Really the big jump for most of them is as they work with us over that initial 18-month period has been in hygiene. And we've seen upwards of 70%, increases in these practices. And so these are average numbers. But still it's huge. When you begin to think.
The 25% average is down, and then you say that you're
that's a 50% split.
That's right.
That's a 50% split. That's half the practice.
Absolutely.
And so that's the neat thing about it, is that for those of you picking up this information, know the potential is there. You can do it too.
That's right.
It's just a matter of taking that initiative and deciding, I can change.
Right.
I'm going to have to do something different. What is the analogy about the definition of insanity is continuing to do things the same way and expecting a different result?
Exactly,
yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, and you're right there, Mike, is that getting a coach is the biggest decision that you'll have to make. The fact that you can accept the fact you need to bring in a coach. I know that in about 1981, 82, in our area when $40 a barrel went to $7 a barrel oil, and I was losing 50 families of patients a month out of my practice.
Wow.
John Steinbeck could have rewritten Grapes of Wrath because they were all headed to California. And it was a tough time. It was a tough time, but as Kathy told the group here today, we chose not to roll over and play dead. We chose to be proactive about what we could do to remedy the situation that we had, and that involved work on our part. And we got outside resources to help us. We developed our own systems, which you don't have to invent the wheel. We bring them to the table.
Absolutely, yes.
And so there wasn't a lot out there at that point in time for us to utilize. So again, we were doing the development of it and saw the difference that it makes. And then for the initial clients we had, we saw the difference it made for them. That's been a real fulfilling thing, to be able to go through the years and be able to see the changes in lives that you can make with a positive influence like coaching.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, and we're going to talk about the coaching program and some of the other things they're doing in other videos. But John, thanks so much for being with us here today.
You're welcome, buddy.
I appreciate it.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Okay.